This painting went through many ugly stages, and today I'll be telling you why I think that happened and why it took me over a year to complete this painting. I started this painting in March of 2020 and thought that it would only take about a month to complete. I'd actually done a graphite drawing of this same horse, so I felt confident in my abilities to render this horse accurately in that amount of time. But what I didn't know was that because I was so out of practice with my oil paints, I chose a project that was more than I could handle at the time. I went through a period of time where I used my graphite drawing of this same horse as a reference for the oil painting. My thought process was that I had already found all the relevant information I needed to render the horse realistically in my drawing, so I thought that I could just use that instead of really observing my reference. So I drew all the different lines from my drawing onto my painting and used them like a coloring book. I knew better than that. I've painted and drawn for years, and that's just not what you do. But I was so out of practice that this made sense to do at the time. This led to many interesting shapes on the horse, what I came to call Africa on the neck and Florida on the face. The horse ended up just looking really plasticky, like he had no fur texture whatsoever, and I was not using the correct colors to render this horse either. I had made this painting into just a hot fire mess. I didn't have a clear plan at all, and just looked at a picture of a brown horse and was like, meh, I'ma just paint brown. I didn't use a detailed underpainting or anything like that I would use now, and my drawing on this was horrible because I was too lazy to render an accurate drawing of my reference on the larger canvas, so I drew it on about a 5.5 by 8 inch paper, which is not the same aspect ratio as an 18 by 24 inch canvas, and blew it up with the printer, and it was proportioned weird, but I didn't really care. And that all leads me to this photo. I left it like that for several months before coming up with a new plan. And the new plan was to get rid of all the brown. Brown was out, gray tones was in. And I just wanted to use the horse as a value study with all of its horrible beginnings. That was just the best plan that I could possibly come up with in order to salvage this project I spent months working on. So I started a black and white study on the horse with a plan to leave the mane a blue color and keep the pastel background. I was able to get more texture in the painting by doing this, and I was able to get rid of some of the more glaringly horrible shapes and corrected most of the anatomical errors. Most, not all. But we were never going to win that fight with this painting. But I think that this painting is a fairly good example of documenting the different ways technique can change over time. Now, when I first started this painting, I didn't have access to my oil paints for about 2 years because I had been staying in a dorm in college and obviously couldn't oil paint in my tiny dorm room. This is what led my artwork to lean primarily towards graphite and colored pencils, with the occasional watercolor experiment. Now that I have finished this painting in May of 2021, I've had about a year to get back into oil painting, and this painting, given all the time off and the interesting way it started, was never going to be my best work of art, nor up to the same par that my more recently started and completed oil paintings are. But it did teach me many lessons, and I'm starting to feel more confident in my oil painting again, especially at a larger scale. And I think my skills are starting to catch up to my skills with my pencil mediums. And And while the final project isn't great, I think that it will be on my wall for quite a time to serve as a reminder to finish what I start and as a benchmark of my progress. This particular painting is full of several valuable lessons, and a positive regarding the end result is that the painting really glows well given all the layers in the horse. And I really like the look of this black and white plus color style, and I'm inspired to do more paintings like this in the future. And that's all for today, so don't forget to share this video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more videos eventually.